The Deep Space Monitoring Station Vega 7 spun slowly against the backdrop of stars. Inside, life continued as it had for hundreds of years. Orderly, predictable, and without surprise. That was about to change. Elder Zorax moved his four-limbed body down the curved hallway toward the observation deck. His scales caught the light as he walked, reflecting soft blues and purples. Another boring day of watching empty space, he thought. 300 years at this post, and nothing ever happened. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Elder Zorax, the young monitoring officer Klaxis said, jumping to his feet. The sensors picked up something strange. Another comet? Zorax asked, not bothering to hide his boredom. No, sir. Klaxis pointed to the main screen. Look, the large screen showed a small object moving at incredible speed toward the station. Its shape was unlike anything in their database, sleek, with two extending wings and a round body. Run a full scan, Zorax ordered, suddenly alert. The computer beeped as data streamed across the screen. The results made Zorax's inner stomach drop. This can't be right, he whispered. According to the scan, the ship matched old records of human vessels. But that was impossible. Humans had disappeared over 3,000 cycles ago. They were just stories now, tales told to scare young ones. Sir, Klaxis said, his voice shaking. The ship is sending a message, the speakers crackled. This is Captain Alan Carter of the Earthship USS Horizon. We come in peace and request docking permission. The control room froze. The voice spoke in perfect galactic standard, but with a strange accent no one had heard. Before Zorax hit the station-wide alert button, all senior staff to the command center immediately. Within minutes, the command center filled with confused officials. Council historian Zelna arrived last, her arms full of ancient data tablets. Is why it true? She asked, her eyes wide with excitement. Has a human ship really appeared? The computer says so, Zorax replied. But humans are just myths. Zelna shook her head. Not myths. My great ancestor met them. She wrote detailed accounts. She held up one of her tablets. I've been saying for years that the stories were based on truth. Commander Pax, the station's military leader, pushed to the front. If these are truly humans, we must be careful. The stories say they are dangerous and unpredictable. The stories also say they helped save 3 star systems from the Void Plague, Zelna argued. Not all tales paint them as monsters. We should evacuate non-essential personnel, Pax insisted. If the legends are true, humans are warriors who breathe fire and can kill with a touch. Zelna laughed. Those are children's stories, Commander. The real records describe humans as small creatures, with remarkable minds. While they argued, the mysterious ship grew closer. On the main screen, everyone could now see details of its structure. It was beautiful in a strange way, with smooth lines and glowing blue engines. They're requesting to speak with our leaders. Again, Klaxis reported. Zorax took a deep breath. Put them on screen. The screen flickered, and for the first time in 3,000 cycles, the galaxy saw a human face. Captain Alan Carter was not what they expected. He had no horns, no fire-breathing mouth, no deadly claws. He looked soft. His skin was a light brown color, with short dark hair on top of his head. He had only 2 eyes, a small nose, and a mouth that curved upward at the edges. Greetings, he said. I understand our arrival must be surprising. Surprising was an understatement. Every alien in the command center stared in shock. You are human, Zorax finally asked. Yes, Carter replied. We are from Earth. Our ship was sent on a deep space mission over 300 years ago. We've been in cryosleep for most of that time. Earth, Zelna whispered. The legendary homeworld. Commander Pax stepped forward. If you are truly human, prove it. The stories say humans can lift 10 times their weight. Carter looked confused. I'm afraid that's not accurate. We're actually quite average in terms of physical strength compared to many species. The texts mention humans fought the Kronax. Beasts, Pax insisted. I don't know what those are, Carter said. We've been asleep for centuries. It seems a lot has changed. Zorax made a quick decision. We will allow a small team to dock at our station, no more than 3 humans. The word felt strange in his mouth. On the USS Horizon, Captain Carter turned off the video link. Well, that was interesting, said Science Officer Lily Novak. She brushed her blonde hair from her face. Did you see how they looked at us? Like we're monsters or gods? Or both, Carter replied. Something's not right here. They talk about us like we're characters from a storybook. Communications Officer Sam Ward spoke up from his station. Captain, I've been analyzing their language patterns. They're speaking a version of galactic standard that's evolved from the basics we were taught before launch. But there are words for us, for humans, that have special meaning to them. Religious meanings. Carter rubbed his eyes. The awakening from cryosleep still left him tired. So in the time we've been asleep, we've become legends? It appears so, sir, Novak said. And not small ones either. Did you notice how that military commander seemed afraid of us? Security Chief Joe Blackwell checked his weapon. I don't like this. We should be careful about who goes over there. I agree, Carter said. I'll lead the team. Novak, you come. For scientific analysis, Martinez, you're our best communicator. Greg Martinez nodded from his station. Yes, sir. What about weapons? Blackwell asked. Carter thought for a moment. Standard sidearms only. Hidden if possible. We don't want to scare them, but I won't send our people over unarmed. Sir, Ward called out. They're sending us docking instructions now. Carter looked out the main viewport at the alien station. It was massive, with spinning sections and lights that pulsed in patterns he didn't understand. Somewhere in there were answers about what had happened while they slept. Set course for their dock, he ordered. Let's find out what happened to the rest of humanity, and why these aliens think we're myths. As the Horizon moved toward the station, news of their arrival spread quickly. Aliens who had grown up hearing stories about the legendary humans now rushed to windows and viewports, hoping to catch a glimpse of the myth made real, and in her private quarters, historian Zelna hurriedly reviewed ancient texts, searching for information that might explain how a ship of living humans could appear after thousands of years. According to all official records, humanity had gone extinct long ago. If these were truly humans, everything she thought she knew about galactic history might be wrong. The first meeting between humans and aliens in 3,000 years was about to begin, and nothing would be the same afterward. The docking bay of Station Vega 7 was crowded with security personnel. Commander Pax had ordered 3 times the normal guard, despite Elder Zorax's objections. You're treating them like criminals, Zorax complained. I'm treating them like unknowns, Pax replied. His hand rested on his stun weapon. The stories say humans are clever and dangerous. Historian Zelna pushed through the crowd, carrying her ancient data tablet. The stories also say they breathe fire and can fly. Let's see what's true before we decide they're dangerous. The station shook slightly as the human ship connected to the docking port. A red light turned green, showing that the airlock was secure. Everyone grew quiet. The inner door slid open with a hiss. 3 figures stepped through, and a wave of whispers swept through the watching aliens. Captain Alan Carter led the way, with Science Officer Lily Novak and Communications Specialist Greg Martinez close behind. All 3 wore blue uniforms with small patches showing Earth surrounded by stars. They looked around with clear interest at the various alien species. So many different life forms, Novak whispered to Carter. This is amazing. Martinez nodded, his eyes wide. I count at least 7 distinct species just in this room. What surprised the aliens most was how ordinary the humans looked. After thousands of years of stories describing them as giants or monsters or godlike beings, the reality was much less impressive. They were of average height, with no special features except their strange rounded ears and varied skin colors. Elder, Zorax stepped forward. Welcome to Vega 7. I am Elder Zorax, Station Administrator. Carter offered a small bow. Thank you for allowing us to dock. I'm Captain Alan Carter of the Earth exploration vessel USS Horizon. Earth, Someone in the crowd gasped. The name was like something from an ancient religious text. Commander Pax pushed forward. How did you survive? All records show humans went extinct after the Great Calamity. The humans exchanged confused looks. Extinct? Martinez asked. Earth is fine. At least it was when we left 300 years ago. Historian Zelna moved closer, her eyes bright with excitement. You're from before the calamity then, this is extraordinary. She held up her data tablet. According to our records, human civilization was destroyed when your sun became unstable, approximately 3,000 cycles ago. 3,000 cycles? Novak asked. How long is a cycle in Earth years? Approximately 1.2 of your years, Zelna answered. Carter did the math quickly. That's 3,600 years, but that's impossible. We left Earth only 300 years ago. The room grew quiet as everyone tried to understand what this meant. Perhaps, Zorak suggested, we should continue this conversation somewhere more comfortable. Please follow me to our meeting chamber. As they walked through the station corridors, aliens stopped and stared at the humans. Some looked scared, others curious, and a few even bowed as if seeing holy figures. Why are they looking at us like that? Martinez whispered. In their history, we're like characters from ancient myths, Carter replied quietly. Imagine meeting someone from Greek mythology like Hercules or Zeus. I don't feel very godlike, Novak said with a small laugh. The meeting chamber was a large room with a round table and comfortable chairs of various shapes to accommodate different alien bodies. The humans sat together on one side, facing Elder Zorax, Commander Pax, and Historian Zelna. Let us share what we know, Zorax began. According to our history, humans were an emerging species that joined the galactic community briefly before a disaster struck their home system approximately 3,000 cycles ago. All contact was lost and explorers found your solar system uninhabitable. Carter shook his head. That timeline doesn't match our experience. The USS Horizon left Earth in the year 2218 as humanity's first true deep space exploration vessel. We had just developed faster-than-light travel and cryosleep technology. Had you made contact with alien life before your mission? Zelna asked eagerly. No, Carter replied. Our mission was to seek out first contact. The aliens looked at each other in confusion. This contradicts all our records, Pax said. The texts clearly state that humans had established colonies on several worlds before their extinction. Novak leaned forward. May I see these records? Zelna handed over her data tablet. Novak studied it with growing interest. Captain, this tablet contains information about human settlements that didn't exist when we left Earth. And look at these dates. They're thousands of years before our mission. Martinez examined the tablet. These aren't even the same naming conventions we use. USS Horizon is the first ship class to use USS in nearly a century. Could there have been earlier human expeditions that were kept secret? Zelna asked. Carter shook his head. Not possible. Something else is happening here. Commander Pax stood up suddenly. Or you're not really humans. You could be imposters using these forms to trick us. Commander, Zorak said sharply. That's enough. No, it's a fair question, Carter replied calmly. How can we prove we're human? Zelna thought for a moment. The ancient texts mention human DNA has a unique double helix structure. We could compare their genetic material to our records. I'm willing to provide a sample, Novak offered. As our science officer, I'm curious to see these results myself. While they waited for the medical team to arrive, Carter asked to see more information about human history according to the alien records. What he learned was shocking. According to this, he said to his crew, humans discovered faster-than-light travel over 4,000 years ago, established contact with alien species, and then disappeared when our sun destabilized. But Earth's sun is a stable main-sequence star, Novak argued. It shouldn't go unstable for billions of years. Unless something made it unstable, Martinez suggested. The medical team arrived and took blood samples from the 3 humans. The analysis would take time, so Elder Zorak suggested they continue sharing information. Tell me, Zorax asked. What was happening on Earth when you left? Carter described 23rd century Earth, a planet recovering from environmental damage but united under a global government, taking its first steps into deep space. Fascinating, Zelna said. The texts describe human civilization as much more advanced, with cities that floated in the sky and weapons that could destroy planets. That sounds more like science fiction than reality, Novak commented. The medical officer returned with results that created even more questions. The DNA matches our records of human genetic structure, he announced. They are indeed human. However, their genetic markers show none of the adaptations documented in later human populations. What adaptations? Carter asked. According to historical medical records, humans who lived among alien species developed small genetic changes due to exposure to different environments, the medical officer explained. Your DNA shows none of these changes. Because we've never lived among aliens before now, Novak pointed out. Commander Pax, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke. There's another possibility. What if these humans aren't from the past or from Earth at all? What if they're from a lost colony that developed in isolation? The idea hung in the air, creating new questions none of them had answers for. Whatever. The truth is, Elder Zorak said, your arrival changes everything we thought we knew about the past, and I suspect it will change our future as well. As the meeting continued, news of the humans' arrival spread throughout the station. Outside the room, crowds gathered, hoping to glimpse the legendary beings who had stepped out of myth and into reality. And far away, faster than light messages raced to other worlds, carrying the impossible news. The humans have returned. News of the humans' arrival spread faster than anyone expected. Within 3 days, ships from 17 different star systems arrived at Station Vega 7. Each carried diplomats, scientists, historians, and curious leaders eager to see the legendary humans with their own eyes. Captain Carter stood at the window of his temporary quarters watching the growing collection of alien vessels. I feel like we're in a zoo, he said as Lily Novak joined him. More like a circus, she replied. Did you see the group that arrived this morning? They brought gifts and wanted us to bless their children. Carter shook his head. How did we become religious figures to these people? Time and stories, Novak said. According to Zelna, human history has been passed down for thousands of years. The facts got mixed with imagination. Security Chief Joe Blackwell entered the room, looking tired. Sir, there's another delegation requesting a meeting. Something called the Mindani Republic. Another one? Carter sighed. That's the 5th today. This one's different, Blackwell said. They claim their ancestors were saved by humans during, some big war. They've brought old artifacts they say were given to them by human friends. That caught Carter's attention. Real evidence of past human contact? That could help explain what's happening here. Later that day, Carter and his team met with the Mindani delegation in the station's Grand Hall. The Mindani were insect-like beings with 4 arms and large, colorful eyes. Their leader, Ambassador Kren, bowed deeply before the humans. The children of Earth honor us with their presence, Kren said. My ancestors spoke of your kind's bravery when facing the Void Pirates. Thank you, Carter replied carefully, though I'm not familiar with those events. Of course not, Kren nodded. They happened many lifetimes ago, but we remember. The human Commander Harris saved our homeworld with just 20 warriors and a small ship. Martinez whispered to Carter. Harris, there was no Commander Harris on our mission logs. From a different time, apparently, Carter whispered back. Ambassador Kren presented a small metal box. This has been passed down through generations of my family. A gift from Commander Harris himself. Novak carefully opened the box. Inside was a tarnished metal badge with faded writing. She examined it closely. Captain, she said with surprise, this is definitely human-made. It's a military badge with Earth symbols, but the design is nothing like our current military uses. Carter took the badge and studied it. This looks like something from the mid-21st century, not the 23rd. And look at this damage, it's been melted on one side. The dinner that followed was filled with questions from the Mindani about human abilities. Each question revealed how distorted the aliens' understanding had become. Is it true humans can survive in the vacuum of space for short periods? One Mindani scientist asked. No, Novak replied. We need air just like most species. But the sacred texts clearly state that human Commander Harris walked through space during the Battle of Centauri, the scientist insisted. In a spacesuit, perhaps, Carter suggested. No, the texts specifically mention he wore only battle armor, the scientist said. Blackwell leaned over to Martinez. By tomorrow, they'll think we can fly and shoot lasers from our eyes. The next day brought more meetings and more strange questions. A group of blue-skinned aliens wanted to know if humans still ate rocks to strengthen their bones. Another group asked to see the famous human ability to change skin color at will. This is getting out of hand, Carter complained during a private meeting with his crew. They've turned us into superheroes. Or gods, Engineer Peter Collins added. He had spent most of his time helping station technicians understand the Horizon's systems. The engineering team practically worships me because I showed them how our quantum drive works. How advanced is their technology compared to ours? Carter asked. That's the strange part, Collins said. In some ways, they're centuries ahead of us. Their life support systems and artificial gravity are amazing, but in other areas, especially propulsion and energy production, they're using outdated methods. It's like they reached a certain point and just stopped developing, Novak observed or went backward, Collins said. Some of their tech looks like it was more advanced once, but they've forgotten how it works. They maintain it without understanding it. Carter frowned. That matches what Zelna told me. Many advanced technologies are considered sacred relics. They're not allowed to modify or improve them. Because they came from the ancient ones? Martinez suggested. Or from us, Novak said quietly. The implications hung in the air. If humans had been in space thousands of years ago, advanced enough to influence all these alien cultures, what had happened to them? And why didn't Earth's history record any of it? Later that day, Carter joined Elder Zorax for a tour of the station's historical museum. Most displays showed artifacts from various alien cultures, but one small section was dedicated to the human era. These items were collected from worlds where humans once lived, Zorax explained. Carter examined the display cases. They contained strange objects, tools unlike anything he recognized, clothing made of materials he couldn't identify, and weapons more advanced than anything in Earth's arsenal. These are supposed to be human-made? He asked. According to our records, yes, Zorax replied. Though I understand they don't match your technology. Not even close, Carter admitted. These look more advanced. Yet your ship's quantum drive is more sophisticated than anything we have, Zorax said. It puzzles me how that could be. Their conversation was interrupted when Counselor Drevik of the Vexari Dominion approached. The tall, blue-skinned alien had arrived that morning with a large delegation. Captain Carter, Drevik said, I've been examining your vessel's specifications. Your quantum drive design is concerning. Concerning how? Carter asked. Drevik's eyes darted nervously to Zorax. Such technology was forbidden after the collapse. What collapse? Carter asked. The counselor refers to a difficult period in our shared history, Zorax said quickly. A time when many technologies were lost. Not lost, Drevik corrected. Banned. For good reason. What reason? Carter pressed. Before Drevik could answer, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Security alert, announced the station's computer. Unknown vessels approaching. All personnel to emergency stations. Zorax hurried to a communication panel. Control room, report. 3 warships just appeared at the edge of our sensor range, replied a worried voice. They're not responding to hails and are approaching rapidly. Identification? Zorax asked. None, sir. But their design matches old records of Praxi vessels. Zorax's face paled. That's impossible. The Praxi collective has been extinct for thousands of years. Carter looked from Zorax to Drevik, seeing fear in both their expressions. Who are the Praxi? According to legend, Drevik said slowly. They were the ones who destroyed humanity. Before Carter could respond, the entire station shook violently. The distant sound of an explosion echoed through the corridors. We're under attack, Zorak said in disbelief. Carter's communication device buzzed. Captain, came Blackwell's urgent voice. We need you back at the horizon immediately. Something's targeting us specifically. As Carter rushed back to his ship, he couldn't shake the feeling that their arrival had triggered something. Awakened, some ancient force that had been waiting for humans to return. And now they were facing an enemy they knew nothing about, one that supposedly had destroyed humanity once before. The legends, it seemed, were about to come alive in the worst possible way. The station shook again as Captain Carter ran through crowded corridors. Aliens rushed in all directions, some seeking safety, others heading to defense stations. Emergency lights flashed, casting everything in an eerie red glow. Captain! Blackwell's voice crackled through Carter's communicator. Where are you? 2 minutes from the ship, Carter replied, dodging a group of panicked aliens. What's happening? 3 enemy vessels are attacking the station. They've specifically targeted the section where the horizon is docked. I've prepared for emergency departure. Carter reached the docking bay where the USS Horizon waited, its engines already humming with power. Novak and Collins were at the entrance, helping Martinez secure the airlock. Everyone aboard? Carter asked as he joined them. All present, Novak confirmed. But Captain, we have guests. Inside the ship, Carter found Elder Zorax and historian Zelna waiting on the bridge. Zelna clutched, her data tablets like precious treasures. I apologize for boarding without permission, Zorax said, but we believe the attackers are here for us as much as you. Explain, Carter demanded as he took his command chair. The bridge crew moved efficiently around him, preparing for possible combat. The ships match ancient designs from the Praxi Collective, Zelna said. A species thought extinct for thousands of years. The same ones your legends say destroyed humanity? Carter asked. Yes, Zorax nodded, and their sudden appearance immediately after your arrival cannot be coincidence. The ship rocked as something struck the station near their docking port. Captain, the pilot called out, station control is ordering all ships to remain docked. Ignore. That, Carter replied. Prepare to disengage, we're a sitting target here. Blackwell at the security station looked up with concern. Sir, if we leave, we're abandoning everyone on this station. Carter hesitated, torn between protecting his crew and helping the aliens who had welcomed them. We're not running, he decided, but we can fight better if we're mobile. Disengage from the station and prepare defensive systems. As the horizon detached from the station, they got their first clear view of the attacking ships. They were unlike anything the humans had seen before. Black, angular vessels with strange red energy pulsing along their hulls. 3 ships. Heavily armed, Blackwell reported. They're focusing their attack on the station's central hub and our former docking area. They're looking for us, Novak realized. But why? Martinez asked. We've never encountered these Praxi before. Zelna stepped forward, her large eyes fixed on the main screen. Captain, there's something you need to know. Something not in the public records. This seems like the perfect time to share, Carter said as the ship maneuvered away from the station. The true history of human contact with the galaxy was complicated, Zelna began. Humans weren't just another species, they were revolutionaries. What do you mean? Carter asked. There is a sealed archive beneath the station, Zelna explained. It contains the complete records of the human era. I've studied these forbidden texts for years. Forbidden? Novak asked. Why would human history be forbidden? Zorak sighed. Because it challenges everything our civilization is built upon. Another explosion rocked the station bigger than before. On screen they could see one section of Vega 7 beginning to break apart. Whatever you're going to tell us, make it quick, Carter said. Those people need help. The truth is humanity wasn't quarantined because they were dangerous, Zelna said rapidly. They were protected. Early human explorers discovered something that threatened the established galactic powers, a method of achieving faster than light, Travel that didn't rely on the controlled wormhole network monopolized by the ancient Praxi Collective. A quantum drive, Collins said, understanding dawning on his face. Like ours. Exactly, Zorax nodded. The Praxi controlled all interstellar travel through their wormhole network. They charged heavily for its use and monitored all who passed through. But a quantum drive would let ships travel independently, Carter realized. Yes, Zelna continued. When humans developed their own FTL technology, the Praxi saw it as a threat to their power. They tried to destroy all evidence of it, including Earth. Wait, Novak interrupted. You're saying these Praxi tried to destroy our planet? How? They engineered your sun to become unstable, Zorax said grimly. Or at least that's what they attempted. The official records claim they succeeded, Zelna added, that Earth was destroyed and humanity extinct. But clearly, that was a lie. Carter tried to process this information. So according to your history, these Praxi should have destroyed Earth thousands of years ago. But they obviously failed since Earth was fine when we left 300 years ago. Perhaps they were stopped, Zorax suggested. The records are incomplete. A sudden realization hit Carter. The time discrepancy. Could it be related to the quantum drive technology? Collins nodded excitedly. Time dilation effects, Captain. Our drive design could potentially create time distortions under certain conditions. Are you saying we might have traveled through time as well as space? Novak asked. It would explain why these aliens think humans existed thousands of years ago, Martinez pointed out. Maybe for us it was only 300 years in cryosleep, but for the rest of the galaxy, thousands of years passed. Or, Collins suggested, what if human exploration happened before our mission but after we left Earth? What if we've jumped into the future of a past we haven't experienced yet? Everyone fell silent as they considered the implications. The ship's computer interrupted their thoughts. Warning. Enemy vessels approaching. Weapons lock detected. Evasive maneuvers, Carter ordered. Blackwell, are our defensive systems ready? Yes, sir, but we're not designed for combat. We're an exploration vessel. Carter studied the tactical display. The 3 Praxi ships were moving to surround them, while the damaged station hung vulnerable nearby. They want our drive technology, Carter said, understanding at last. That's why they're here. Somehow they detected our quantum signature. If the Praxi get your drive design, Zorax warned, they could rebuild their empire. The galaxy would fall under their control again. Carter made a quick decision. Collins, initiate quantum drive startup sequence. In a planetary system? Collins asked, shocked. Captain, that's incredibly dangerous. We're not jumping, Carter explained. But the drive initialization will create a distinct energy pattern. If these really are the Praxi, and they really want our technology, let's lead them away from the station. The plan worked. As soon as the Horizon's quantum drive began its startup sequence, all 3 enemy ships broke off their attack on the station and moved to pursue the human vessel. It worked, Novak said. But now what? We can't outrun them forever. We don't need to, Carter replied. Zelna, these records you mentioned, if we can access them, might they contain information about Praxi weaknesses? Zelna nodded eagerly. Yes. The sealed archive contains detailed accounts of the war between humans and the Praxi. Then we need to get back to that station, Carter decided. But first, we need to deal with our pursuers. He turned to Collins. Engineer, how quickly can you modify our quantum drive to emit a focused pulse? A pulse? Collins thought for a moment. It's not designed for that, but maybe 30 minutes? You have 15, Carter said. We're going to give our friends a taste of the technology they're so desperate to control. As Collins rushed to engineering, Carter opened a channel to the station. Vega 7, this is Captain Carter. We've drawn off the attackers, but we need access to your sealed archives. There may be information there that can help us fight these Praxi ships. Commander Pax's voice responded, strained but determined. The archives are protected by ancient security systems. But if these really are, the Praxi returned, then we have no choice. Return to the station, Captain. We'll help you access the hidden truth. As the Horizon raced through space with 3 deadly enemies in pursuit, Carter couldn't help but wonder what other secrets lay buried in the station's archives. If humans had fought these Praxi before, perhaps they could find a way to defeat them again. And maybe, just maybe, they might discover how to get back to their own time, or forward to see what had become of Earth after all these centuries. The USS Horizon raced back toward Station Vega 7, the 3 Praxi ships in close pursuit. In engineering, Collins worked frantically to modify the quantum drive. "Almost there, Captain," he reported. "The pulse will be ready in 2 minutes." Carter nodded. "Everyone, prepare for emergency maneuvers. This is going to be close." As they approached the damaged station, Carter executed his plan. "Now, Collins." The quantum drive released a powerful energy pulse that spread outward in a blue wave. When it hit the Praxi ships, their systems flickered and died. The black vessels drifted helplessly in space. "It worked," Novak exclaimed. "The pulse disabled their ships." "Temporarily," Collins cautioned. "Maybe 30 minutes before they recover." The Horizon docked quickly at an emergency port. Carter, Novak, and Blackwell rushed to meet Commander Pax and Zelna, who waited with a small security team. "This way," Zelna said urgently. "The archives are deep below the station's main levels." They hurried through damaged corridors until they reached an ancient doorway covered with strange symbols. Zelna placed her hand on a panel and the massive door slowly opened. "Few have entered this place in thousands of years," she said as they stepped inside. The archive was a vast chamber filled with data storage devices and physical records. In the center stood a strange machine with a glowing blue core. "What is that?" Carter asked. "A quantum information matrix," Zelna explained, "built by humans and their allies during the war with the Praxi." Zelna activated the device and a holographic display appeared, showing thousands of star systems and the movement of fleets. "This is the complete record of the human-Praxi war," she said. "Watch." The display showed Earth ships fighting alongside alien allies against Praxi forces. As the war progressed, the Praxi targeted Earth directly, attempting to destroy humanity's homeworld. "They failed," Zorax narrated. "Human scientists created a temporal shield that protected Earth from the Praxi weapon. But it had an unexpected side effect. Time became distorted around your solar system," Zelna continued. "While thousands of years passed for the rest of the galaxy, Earth experienced only a few centuries. The bubble is collapsing now," Zorax added. "That's why your ship could finally leave Earth's system." Carter stared at the display in amazement. "So humanity wasn't destroyed. We were just out of sync with the rest of the galaxy." "Exactly," Zelna said. "And the records show something else important. The Praxi were defeated but not destroyed. They fled to a pocket dimension, waiting for the day when human technology would reappear. Our arrival triggered their return," Novak realized. Blackwell studied the tactical displays. "These records show Praxi weaknesses. Their ships are vulnerable to specific quantum frequencies." Collins examined the technical data. "Captain, I can modify our pulse to permanently disable their systems." Suddenly, the station shook violently. "The Praxi ships have recovered," Pax reported. "They're attacking the station again." "We need to stop them now," Carter said. "Before they can call for reinforcements." Carter and his crew rushed back to the Horizon. Using the ancient knowledge from the archives, Collins quickly reconfigured the quantum drive. "Ready, Captain," he reported. "Take us out," Carter ordered. "Let's finish this." The Horizon launched from the station and faced the 3 Praxi ships. This time, when Collins activated the modified pulse, the effect was dramatic. The enemy vessels' red energy cores imploded, leaving them dead in space. "It's over," Blackwell confirmed. In the days that followed, the news spread throughout the galaxy. Humans had returned, and they had defeated the dreaded Praxi once again. In the station's Grand Hall, representatives from 17 systems gathered to establish new relations with humanity. Captain Carter addressed the assembled aliens. 300 years ago, we left Earth seeking first contact. Instead, we found that humanity has already been part of this galactic community. Time separated us, but now we're back. Elder Zorax stepped forward. For thousands of years, humans were just legends to us. Stories of brave warriors and brilliant minds who stood against tyranny. Now we see the legends were true. With the time distortion ending, we can now contact Earth, Carter said. A new era of cooperation between all our peoples can begin. As he looked out at the diverse alien faces, Carter realized their accidental journey had bridged a gap of thousands of years. Humanity wasn't a myth anymore. They were back, ready to reclaim their place among the stars and help build a better future for all species. Historian Zelna recorded the events in her personal journal. Today marks the beginning of the second, human era. The myths have become reality once more, and the galaxy is better for it.